How many of you saw the cartoons that took place during the announcements today?
Yeah.
Huh? They were there for 20 seconds apiece. And it went through over and over again. You can read all the rest of it. So. This is also another extra for Mother's Day. Now, they'll be back up after church again. And so some of you were in the process of looking at the spiritual gifts of the people here at Mogadore Christian Church. And what you're looking at here is a bar graph of the average person that attends Mogadore Christian Church. And the average person that attends Mogadore Christian Church has the spiritual gift of pastor shepherd, which is what we're looking at today, and showing mercy, with encouraging and serving and administration coming in a close second to that. So that's the average person that attends Mogadore Christian Church who has taken the test to this point. Now, looking across here, some of you have not had the opportunity to take the spiritual gifts inventory that we offered a few weeks ago. If you'd like to take it, I'll be glad to administer it, okay? So you know, just see me after church today. We'll set up a time that's convenient, and we'll let you take it so you be a part of what spiritual gift you have as we discuss these spiritual gifts. Can you read this one, Denise? I'll leave it up here so you can read this one, Denise. But for those over there, a little hard to read it on some southern churches. Your father has agreed to stay awake in church today since it's Mother's Day. It would be nice if you would do the opposite for once. So we want to look at the spiritual gift of pastor shepherd today. Just so a little bit pastor, you know, and pastors do have a sense of humor, so here's this one for you. You know, this is my last Sunday with you. I've been trained for an organist, 3 choir members, and an assistant pastor to be named later. So what is the gift of, the spiritual gift of pastor shepherd? Well, first of all, the gift is first and foremost not the call of God into Christian ministry. Just because you have the spiritual gift of pastor shepherd does not mean that God is suddenly calling you to take my job, okay? It's a different gift, as we will see in a few minutes. So pastor shepherd is the spirit-given capacity and desire to serve God by overseeing, training, and caring for the needs of a group of Christians. Now, I know you're thinking, well, isn't that what I do as a pastor of this church? Isn't that what I do? You know, oversee, train, care for the needs of a group of Christians? Well, yes, but there's some differences here. And let's look at some of those differences now. But let's look at the role of the pastor, or I'm going to try to use the word preacher today for my position, okay? I'm going to use the word preacher for my position versus the spiritual gift of pastor. Now, what is a preacher? Well, a preacher is one who gets up front in a group of people and presents God's word to those listening and applies it to everyday life. And it's that applies it that makes the difference here. If you have a spiritual gift, you're simply teaching the material. You're presenting the material. But that's about all you're doing, is presenting the material. Preaching takes it a step further and then applies it to life. You know, it's a subtle, thin line between the two. I'll admit, okay. But you know, I know when I'm teaching, and this whole series on spiritual gifts, it's more teaching than preaching, okay. But I know in my own mind when I flip the switch and I've gone from just teaching the material of spiritual gifts to preaching about them, okay. It's a subtle difference that flips in my mind, and I know when I make that switch from just teaching you the material to preaching to you about it. But being a preacher is also a special call from God on their life. You know, somebody who took this inventory that we took a few weeks ago, put down on you know, other things you want us to know. had the opportunity to give us that, and they let us know that they felt like they had the call of God on their lives to become a preacher. And so, yes, the elders are going to be working with this person and dealing with this person in a totally different way. But, it's a special call in your life that God is presenting to you to become a preacher. Now, can a preacher have the spiritual gift of pastor shepherd? Absolutely. Well, let's ask the next question. Does a preacher have to have the spiritual gift of pastor shepherd as a primary gift? Absolutely not. In fact, this time when I took this inventory with you, pastor shepherd was not my highest. I was shocked. Usually it is for me, but for this time I took it, it was not the highest. But just because this inventory that we took says that you have the spiritual gift of pastor shepherd, it does not mean God is calling you to do sermons on Sunday morning, okay? So you can rest easy a little bit. Give you a little time to relax just a little bit. I don't get it. Every time I take inventory, I nod off, says the shepherd. So let's look at the characteristics of the spiritual gift. The pastor shepherd is usually patient. They're interested in the person that they're teaching to learn the material. That's all they're interested in is does the people that the pupils learn the material? And if they don't seem to learn the material, they're willing to teach it in a different way. They're willing to find different words, different manners, different methods to teach the material in a different way so that the person gets it eventually. And so they're patient with you along the way until you learn the material. They're usually willing to spend time in prayer for others. Those under their care, they're willing to spend time with them in prayer and for them. They're usually a Jack and Jill of all, but a master of one. The person who has this gift is usually willing to step in and do anything. It's just they're not really good at it. Okay, they're willing to attempt anything once. And if somebody needs help doing something other, they're right there to help out, pitch in, and step in and help out along the way. But their spiritual gift to fix toilets, no. But they'll hand you the pipe wrench if that's what you need. They're there to help you along the way. Pastor shepherd is people-centered. They're more interested in people, the people who are under their care, because they love the people who are under their care. They're authoritative in their bearing. They understand the material, and so they will come across as authoritative. This is what it says. This is what my book says. I don't care what Pastor Higgins says. I don't care what Pastor Johnson says. This is what my book says, and so this is the way it's going to be. They're authoritative in the material that they cover. Pastor shepherd is more of a leader than a follower. Think about that. You're going to teach something to somebody. You're going to be a leader. You're not necessarily going to be a follower. You can follow at times, but you're more of a leader. You like being up front. They're expressive, they're composed, they're sensitive to those who are in their care. Number 8, they draw people to themselves easily. They just have this characteristic of being able for people to come to them and just draw people to them just by their personality. In fact, number 9 goes right along with it. They have a pleasing personality. They're right there, and just because of who they are, and people just want to be around them and be near them. So let's look at some of the weaknesses of the spiritual